Hey Dixie Bee friends, it's Mrs. Schultz here. It's Origami Day, so I get to teach you a little bit of origami. In case you didn't know, origami is the art of paper folding. So we're actually going to do some paper folding. So all you need for this project is paper and maybe some scissors, just in case you don't have a square piece of paper. Origami nobody really knows when it was created as an art form, because people have been folding paper as long as paper has been around. Paper was invented in China a long time ago. And then about 1,000 years ago, there's a record of people in Japan making art out of folded paper. So we kind of say that origami is a Japanese art form. There's a book, if you're interested, about origami cranes. It's kind of a sad book, but it's got a really good ending. And it's about folding paper cranes, which are little birds, and it's our expert project that we're going to do today. Here is the origami paper crane that we're going to be making if you consider yourself an origami expert and you can follow along with my video. We are also going to make today an origami heart, and that's a pretty easy one. And we're going to make a super easy origami doggy face. So stay tuned. We're gonna have 3 different videos for 3 different origamis, and do whatever you're comfortable with or whatever your teacher can help you with. I just want you guys to see how I've been making this video. So I moved my room around a little bit, and I've got my little desk back here. But to make these videos, I had to pile a bunch of boxes on top of each other. I actually put my phone right up here so that it can look down onto the paper. It was a little bit of a balancing act, but we're gonna make this work for you guys. So here we go with our origami lesson. The first step of this project is to start with a square piece of paper. If you don't have a square piece of paper handy, you can very easily make one with a rectangular piece of paper. We can make a perfect square. So I'm going to show you how to do that. This is a paper that I cut to be the exact size of a computer printout paper. It's just red on one side and white on the other side, so you can easily see what I'm doing. So what you're going to do is you're going to take your rectangle and you are going to fold an edge over to line up with the opposite edge. So you're pretty much making a triangle. Can you see that, with a rectangle at the top? And then all you have to do to make it a square is cut that extra paper off so that you have a perfect square. So I'm gonna just turn this so it's a little bit easier for me to cut. And I'm gonna cut this edge off, just like that. And then this you can use for a bookmark or for something else. Maybe you're gonna make a little craft with it. And when you open up your paper, you have a perfect square. So that's the first step. So make sure you have a square piece of paper to get started. Okie dokie. We're gonna do a very simple origami project. We're gonna make a little doggy. So what I need you guys to do is get your square piece of paper. Hopefully you have one, or hopefully you watched the first part of the video where I taught you how to make one from a rectangular piece of paper. All right, I am going to use a paper that's one color on one side and white on the other side. That way you can easily see my folds. But you can use any paper. It can be white on both sides and you can decorate when you're all done, or you can decorate it before and then fold your paper. But what I want you guys to do is if you have one that's decorated or a color, put the white side up right now. That's gonna be how it's gonna start. All right, and what we're gonna do is we're gonna put our paper in front of us like a diamond. So there's a point at the top, 2 points on the side, and a point at the bottom. And we're first going to take the top point and we're gonna fold it down to the bottom point. And we're gonna put our corners together, and then we're gonna flatten out our crease. The great thing about this easy start to origami is that if it's a little bit off, or if your square wasn't totally perfect, it's okay. It's not gonna hurt anything in the long run. All right, so we did our first fold. Now we're gonna take this point And we're gonna fold that down into an ear and ear. So we're going to fold that corner down like that. See, we want our little ear to stick out. We want a little ear to stick out. So I didn't fold it to match. I fold it so it's a little bit off, so your little ear pokes out. And then we're gonna do the same thing on the other side, so a little ear pokes out. And see my little doggy ears? All right, you're pretty much done with the folding. That's the easiest origami I know how to do. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna draw, and I'm using a Sharpie so you can see it, but you could use your pencil or a crayon for this. I'm gonna put a triangle in the middle for a nose. I'm gonna put a J and a backwards J there for my little mouth. You can make some whiskers if you want to, because doggies have whiskers. I'm gonna give it some little eyes. Maybe a little, it's gonna be looking up like that. And I can be done with my little origami doggy. That's the easiest origami that I know how to do, but it looks pretty awesome anyway. All right. Hope you enjoyed that one. Okay, my friends. So the first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna make an origami heart. All right. If you have your paper that you made into a square, and one side of it is a color, or maybe you do a drawing on this side or something, the side that you want to show, we're gonna put that on the bottom. So I want you to flip your paper over pretty much, okay? So I wanna have a red heart, so I'm gonna use the white side of my paper facing me right now. All right, and you're gonna turn your paper to be a diamond. So you have a point at the top, 2 points on the sides, and a point at the bottom. All right, what I want you to do first is fold your bottom to the top. So we're making a triangle. And if you made your paper square from a rectangle, like I showed you a few minutes ago, you already have that fold. So it's perfect. Okay, and then you're gonna open it. And then you're gonna take the side and fold it over to the opposite point. So you're kind of doing the same thing, but opposite. Now, if you made your paper and it's not completely perfect, it's going to be totally fine. So don't worry about that one bit. Try to make good folds. Put your corners together as close as you can. Crease your lines really nicely. All right. And then I want you to open it up again. So now we have a plus in the middle of our diamond. Okay. Now we're going to take the top point, so this point up here, and we're going to take it to the center where our folded lines intersect. So see right there where my folded lines intersect? We're gonna take that point right there to that intersection. My older kids know what intersection means from math, and now maybe it makes a little more sense. Okay, now we're gonna take our bottom point, and this time we're not gonna go to our intersection, we're gonna go to the tippy top of our diamond shape here. So I'm gonna take my point, and I'm gonna fold it all the way up to the top, the straight line up there. And I'm gonna fold my line nice and make a nice crease. All right, so this is the shape that you should have at this point. Now, we're gonna take this corner and we're gonna fold it up to go up here. So I'm gonna take, see this line down here? This line is gonna match up with my middle line. So watch me do this. I'm gonna take this point and I'm gonna bend it and fold it and make it match up with my center line right there. And I'm gonna line it up as perfect as I can, and then I'm gonna crease that line down. And then I'm gonna do the exact same thing on the other side. So this line, this edge, is gonna line up with my middle, and this point is gonna go right up here. So I'm gonna take this point and I'm gonna fold it right up to the top. And you can sort of see my heart already. So it's a pointy heart. It looks a little bit odd, but I think you can probably already see that it's a heart. Okay, now you're gonna flip the whole thing over. And you got, it kind of looks like a fox's head to me. It's got two little pointy ears, and then this is the head. All right, so we're gonna take this edge and we're gonna fold it over. Okay, so you're just gonna fold a little corner over, a little triangle over. And then we're gonna do the same thing on the other side. Fold a little triangle over. And then we're gonna take this top point and we're gonna fold it down just so it meets the straight edge right there. And we're gonna do the same thing. So if you think of it as being a fox, you're folding his little ears down. All right, and then when we flip it over, we have a perfect heart. And the fun thing is you can kind of open it up and write a little note to somebody, and then you can seal it back up. You don't need any tape or anything. You can just kind of leave it like that, and then you can hand it to somebody. So there is your origami heart. Okay, origami experts, the last thing that I'm going to teach you how to do with origami today is to make an origami crane. This is probably one of the most complicated ones that I know how to do. So I'm going to teach you. There's a lot of steps. This is for my origami experts because it is a little bit complicated. So I want you to be ready to follow the directions, ready to hit pause. And we're going to get started on this one. So make your square piece of paper or get a square piece of paper, and here we go. Okay, everybody, it's time for my experts. We're going to make our origami crane. All right, you're going to start with a square piece of paper, just like we mostly do with origami. What you're going to do first is you're going to fold it in half. If you have a color on one side or a drawing or something, you're going to fold the white side to the inside. Okay, so the side that doesn't have the drawing, you're going to fold that to the inside. All right, and then we're going to open it up, and then we're going to fold it in half the other way. So if you folded right to left, now you're going to fold top to bottom or bottom to top. And then open it up, and you will have a plus in the middle of your paper. Now we're going to fold it in a diagonal. So we're going to go like that, corner to corner. Make sure you're making nice creases. And when you open them up, you can unfold that crease. And now we're going to fold it in the opposite diagonal. So if you went top to bottom, now you're going right to left. But when you're done with that step, you'll have 8 triangles. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. All right, now this is the hard part. So you might need to pause the video after I show you what to do. What you're gonna do is you're gonna take 2 corners and you're gonna put them together at the top, but see how it leaves this little pocket on both sides? All right, and then you're gonna push that little pocket inside, and you're not making any new creases. You're gonna fold on the folds that you already have, and you're gonna push that in, and then you're gonna fold it so that you have 2 little flaps. I'm gonna do the same thing on the other side. I'm gonna push this little pocket inside so that the point goes up to the top, and I'm gonna fold my little flaps back. So I have 2 little flaps on this side, 2 little flaps on that side. All right, now I'm gonna turn it so that my closed edge is the top and my open edge is closer to me, and I'm gonna fold this corner, the top flap, I'm gonna fold it over to meet the center line. Okay, so I'm gonna do that again. I'm gonna take this corner over to the center line, and I'm gonna take this corner, and I'm gonna do the same thing on the other side. I'm gonna go over to the center line, and I'm gonna make some nice creases. And you can kind of see it looks like a kite on top of a diamond. All right, now we're gonna flip it over, and we're gonna do the exact same thing. So I'm gonna take this top flap, and I'm gonna fold it over to the center line, and I'm gonna take this flap over to the center line. So I have another little kite. So see this that little kite, and there's the same thing on the other side. All right, now we're going to take this top, and see how it looks like kind of like an envelope? We're gonna fold the envelope down, and then open it back up, and then flip it over, and we're gonna do the same thing. We're gonna fold it down and make a crease, and then we're gonna open it back up, and then we're gonna open a kite flap just on the top. And then this is another tricky step, so you might be ready to pause your video. All right, I'm gonna put it down on my table, and what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna pull up this top paper. I always say it looks kind of like a baby bird's mouth. See how it's like a baby bird saying, feed me, feed me. Okay, then I'm going to open that up, and I'm not making any new creases. I'm gonna fold that flap down and fold that flap down so that it lays flat like a really long skinny diamond. Now I'm gonna do the same thing on the other side. So I'm going to, so my envelope was open. I'm gonna open this kite flap. I'm gonna open this kite flap, and then remember our baby bird. So I'm gonna open our baby bird's mouth, see, like this. And then I'm not making any new folds. I'm gonna refold the folds I already have. I'm just gonna fold them backwards. And I'm gonna push those little flaps down. And I'm gonna get it on the right fold there. And I'm gonna fold it down. And it's gonna make another tall diamond, tall skinny diamond. All right, you might need to pause it here so that you can catch up. So you have a diamond on the front and a diamond on the back. All right, now put it on your table so that the flaps open like this on the top, and it's kind of like legs at the bottom, okay? The legs are closest to you. All right, we're gonna do a step again that we already did, sorta. We're gonna make another kite fold. So I'm gonna take this corner and I'm gonna fold it to the center line. So see how this edge, you fold it over to the center line. I'm gonna do the same thing on the other side. I'm gonna take this edge, the top flap, and I'm gonna fold it over to the center line like that. Make sure you make some nice creases. You see my little kind of skinny kite on top there? Now I'm gonna flip the whole thing over. I've still got my legs at the bottom, and I'm gonna do the same thing. I'm gonna take this edge and I'm gonna make it line up with the center. So I'm gonna fold it over. I call that a kite fold. And then I'm gonna take this again and I'm gonna fold it over to the center line. You can notice I kind of turn my paper as I do it to make it easier for me to make a nice crease. All right, so then I have another little kite. So it's a kite on one side with little legs and a kite on the other side with little legs. All right, now this part, if you notice, you've got two little flaps on the right and two little flaps on the left. Now I'm gonna take the top flap on the right and I'm gonna flip the flap. All right, and then I'm gonna turn the whole thing over so I see my kite again. And now I have 3 flaps on the right and 1 flap on the left. Now I'm gonna take one of my right flaps again and I'm gonna flip the flap. All right, so now I like to say it looks like a fox. So you've got 2 little foxy ears and you've got a fox mouth down here. All right, now we're gonna take the top part of his mouth and we're gonna fold it up so that the points are all together at the top. And then we're gonna fold it or turn the whole thing over. Got my fox again. I'm gonna take the top flap and I'm gonna put all the points together at the top. See, all my 4 points are at the top. Almost done. All right, now we've got a triangle on top. On the other side, there's a triangle on top. Now, I have 2 flaps on the right and I have 2 flaps on the left. We're gonna do that flipping the flap again. I'm gonna take this flap and I'm gonna fold it. This is what I have, this is the shape I have. Now I'm gonna turn the whole thing over. And I have 3 flaps here and 1 flap here. So I'm gonna take the right flap and I'm gonna flip it again. And this is the shape I have on this side now. This side, this side. Okay, now we're almost done. What we're gonna do, we're gonna take this inside piece. I'm just gonna fold it down like that, okay? Maybe a little bit smaller, okay? And then I'm gonna take this piece and I'm gonna pull it out. This is my little head. This is my tail. Now I'm gonna take these 2 flaps and pull them open. I can squash this little body down and I've got my perfect origami crane. All right, I hope you did it. Okay, that was all I have for you today for Origami Day. I hope you were able to make one of those projects or maybe more. It's been fun.